Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Stone Zone, the place where I blabber about Japanese cartoons. So every character in Dr. Stone has a skill or one specific thing that they're good at, which, combined with other skills, can form a pretty strong team. Now, what if these skills weren't used to beat lion-murdering communist serial killers? What if they weren't used to build cell phones in the Stone Age? How would have these super useful skills been used in the modern world? It's pretty obvious that Senku would have become a world-renowned Nobel Prize-winning scientist, but what about the original members of Ishigami Village, like Chrome and Kohaku? What about Taiju and Hyoga and everybody else? Watch until the end to find out what job your favorite character would end up with, or not, because, I can't really cover all the characters in this one video, and so if this video hits 25 likes, I'll do a part 2. Oh, also, did you know that tornadoes were called twirl blasts, or twirl winds, back in the 1800s? Honestly, that sounds so much cooler than tornado. We need to bring that back, oh my god. Here's the bill for that fact, and thank god, it's completely free. All you need to do is subscribe. So starting off, we have Kohaku. So as we know, she has very good eyesight, is strong, has good fighting skills, and has the ability to control her clothes. So the first couple of jobs that come to mind that requires good eyesight would be a firefighter, lifeguard, surgeon, and maybe pilot. Photographers and jewelry refining as well. However, Miss Kohaku is a woman of many talents, one of which is physical combat and strength. Now obviously physical strength is extremely handy, but nowadays that stuff doesn't really help when it comes to getting a job. She could work in construction, but that isn't really well paying and doesn't utilize Kohaku's eyesight that well. She could also become an athlete, but it is quite hard because, you really need to be up there to sustain it or do it for a living. There's also the risk of injury, so I don't think it's worth it, especially when you have more options that utilize your entire skill set. So first I thought of a firefighter because obviously that requires good eyesight to spot fires, and it is a little physically demanding. But it doesn't really seem quite right for Kohaku to me. So basically, the only two options that required both good eyesight and physical strength was lifeguard and pilot. Because even though being a surgeon requires good eyesight, it's not really that physically demanding, and Kohaku is, well, let's say not the smartest. So for the lifeguard and pilot dilemma, let's draw a chart. So when it comes to eyesight, both pilots and lifeguards require above average vision and have a fair amount of strength. So honestly, I feel like Kohaku would have become a pilot because she's also quite dedicated, which is an extremely important factor when it comes to becoming a pilot. Another reason is that being a lifeguard is more of a part-time job and you don't really do much. And so final answer, Kohaku would be a pilot. Feel free to disagree with me in the comments and why. Moving on, we have Ginro, and this one I'm assuming is going to be the hardest to choose. Particularly because he has nothing that makes him special. He doesn't have any personality traits, or at least positive ones, even though he's a genuine person and has a friendly side to him. He's just that kind of goofy guy that everyone likes being around simply because he makes them laugh and just makes your life more wholesome. However, I think Ginro would have been the only average guy out of the entire Science Kingdom who works at McDonald's or Walmart and plays video games all day. Not so much McDonald's because he would just get jealous of all the couples that go there. So final answer, Ginro would be a full-time employee at Walmart. Yay. Continuing the brother theme, next up we have Kinro. Now the discipline that Kinro has would have been desired by anyone. The discipline would have definitely gotten him good grades in school, and he could have gotten any job he desired. However, I'm only going to give him a job based on his current skill set and strengths, so considering that he is just as strong as Kohaku, the only best job that I can think of would be police officer. It's extremely important to be strict and judgmental when you're in the police force, and you need to be able to stick to the rules while having a little bit of your own brain power. For example, even though he was hesitant to let Senku in the village, Kinro eventually used his own brain instead of blindly obeying the orders. Being in control of your emotions while being aware of them can be an extremely handy skill which Kinro has mastered, and considering his physical strength and determination, he would have definitely made it. So yeah, Kinro would become a police officer. So the first thing that came to mind when I was going to assign an occupation to Taiju was that his stupid strength would be wasted if he were to just become an average construction worker, and even if he was, all of his colleagues would be practically jobless. Now, in both the anime and manga, it's quite clear that Taiju loves helping people, so something that would require both physical strength and the will to help people would be a police officer, or work in the army. And then I remembered that Taiju is quite the softie, and you can't really treat criminals too nicely, so I ticked that off. So basically, we need a job that uses a lot of strength or stamina, but at the same time benefits people in some sort of way. The only thing that came to mind was fitness creator, or like a competitive powerlifter who makes motivational content. So yeah, Taiju Oki, competitive weightlifter and motivational speaker. Yeah. Next up on the list, we have Chrome, and as we all know, his expertise lies more in the materialistic side of science, so physicists wouldn't really fit his personality. You need to go around conducting research everywhere, come up with theories, develop new technology, etc, all the boring shit. But as we know, Chrome likes exploring and discovering new shit. However, there aren't many jobs where you have to go explore for minerals within my knowledge. Becoming a miner would mean a lot of physical work, but doesn't really let you learn new things and doesn't require much scientific knowledge. I also thought archaeologists could work, but then Chrome doesn't really want to learn about the past. He doesn't care about the past because the past is just the past. He wants to look towards the future and learn everything about the world. That's why the best job for Chrome would be a geoscientist. A geoscientist is basically a scientist who researches the actual planet, the environment, searches for minerals, oil reserves, and such. Basically, another name would be Earth scientist. He could travel to different places and learn about everything that he wants to about the Earth while earning money. To be honest, there could be a better job for him, so let me know what you think in the comments. But for now, Chrome is stuck with the job of geoscientist. Next up, we have Magma. Now, Magma is basically just brute strength. He doesn't have any ideologies or principles that he always sticks to, other than kill, smack, be a dick, and become village chief. So basically, he has a pretty plain personality where he only thinks about his friends and his team. He's the sort of guy you wouldn't want on the opposing team, you know what I mean? He's also quite competitive, as we can see from his frequent arguments with Yo about the primitive people being better than the modern ones. Basically, he's the type of person who wants to be the best at everything, especially when it comes to strength. Therefore, I've decided that, again, Magma is going to be a sports person in a particular sport that requires brute strength and size. Something like boxing, wrestling, American football, etc. American football requires a team effort, and I think we all know how that would go, and so it's a battle between wrestling and boxing. So one thing that makes me want to choose boxing is, since wrestling is predetermined, Magma would probably not enjoy the feeling of winning as much. We can see that he doesn't like using underhanded tricks to win because he didn't kill Senko and Chrome when he had the perfect opportunity to without giving up the title of village chief. Well, yes, there is that one time he tried to backstab Gen, but I think that was different, as in he was scared of Gen's so-called magic. So anyway, that's why I think boxing would be the perfect sport and occupation for Magma. I should have mentioned it earlier, but the strengths and weaknesses of Dr. Stone characters are obviously exaggerated. The main characters of Dr. Stone are stronger, physically or mentally, than the average person. Taiju would probably go on setting world records monthly, and Magma would have the longest winning streak known to mankind. Wait, no, that would have been Tsukasa, never mind. However, this is a fun video to make nonetheless, and please do leave a comment if you disagree with the occupations that I have assigned to our beloved characters. Like and subscribe, okay, bye. Oh, also, 25 likes and I'll do a part 2.